These are supplies for today's project, and that will be a Christmas chandelier. And we're making over this lampshade. Hello guys, my name is Kiki and let's jump into today's project. To make our chandelier, I'm gonna first remove those metal thingies that the lampshade had, and then I'm gonna start painting my lampshade. And as you can see, I'm using black paint. And believe me, this looks beautiful. Even though we will see a little bit of those leaves, we will have the most beautiful lampshade ever. So anytime you need to refresh your lampshade, just go ahead, grab some paint and paint it. Look at that, it looks beautiful. So I'm gonna continue painting all around, including the borders and the inside of the lampshade. And as you can see, I'm just wrestling around with my paintbrush. So we're gonna paint it completely just like that, and then we're gonna let it dry and come back and give it second coat to it. I tried to do it while it was a little bit wet, and believe me, that doesn't work. You're gonna struggle a lot, so let it dry really nice and then come back and do your second coat. Now that it's dry, here is how it's looking. See, those leaves are showing, but they look beautiful. Now I'm gonna cover the top using this netting that you see here, and that's just plastic screen and some felt. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna measure my lampshade, and then I'm gonna cut with like ½ inch of seam allowance. Yeah, I just call it seam allowance, even though we're not sewing it. But you need an extra inch around your circle. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna place it on top, and then we're gonna start gluing it using our hot glue. And just like that, we add a little bit of hot glue, then we press it down using something, except from our fingers, because we don't want to get burned, right? Up in there, and it hurts. So we're gonna continue gluing it all around our lampshade and pressing it down until we cover all of our lampshade inside with that netting. So we keep adding a little bit of glue, gluing it together. And this is a little bit hard, but believe me, it's not something that you won't be able to make. So I'm gonna continue and finish this. And here is how it's looking. Now I'm cutting the excess on top, and then I'm gonna come back with some felt, because we need to make it sturdy and to glue it really nicely. So we're gonna cut some strips of that felt just like that, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start gluing them to the borders like so. We just glue it, and this will make our netting to be a little bit more sturdy and strong, because we need to hang our ornaments on that net. So we're going to continue doing this until we cover all the borders. Just like that. We keep on gluing. Don't worry about the top part. Now I'm just removing the excess netting that I have. And then I'm going to come back and just pinch it down. Add a little bit of hot glue and pinch it down so we get a nice board. Now, I'm going to take this upholstery needle. Okay, that was hard time. And some fishing line, and I'm gonna string that around the border of my lampshade. And with this, what we are doing is the handles for it to hang on the ceiling. So, okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go on the other side, and I use my fishing line to measure it. And as you can see, I tie again, and now I'm going to repeat that on the other side. And remember that we're using the same fishing line to measure the center. So we're going to put this here, and then we're going to tie it really nicely. Okay, that was a little bit of a struggle. And now we're tying it. And then after we do that, we're gonna measure using that same fishing line like that, and then we just do the same in the other. This is part of the Make It New challenge hosted by Jasenia from B Thrifty2 and Carol from My Blessed Nest. In the description box down below, you're gonna find the links to both of their channels and also for the playlist for this month challenge. Go and check them out, and also check out the playlist because I know you're gonna find lots of awesome inspiration. Remember that if you like modern farmhouse, boho decor, and lots of silly jokes, that's what I do here, so subscribe. And here's my social media, go and check me out. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna finish tying up our fishing line, just like this. So we have a nice sturdy base so we can hang it and make our chandelier. Now, I'm cutting all the excess and I'm just gonna take those out of the way so I can draw with a Sharpie a spiral in the middle of my lampshade netting. Lampshade netting. And I'm gonna do the spiral, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start adding my ornaments. And the first ones that I'm gonna add are those two beautiful mini stars from Walmart. I'm gonna remove them from the twine and I'm gonna tie them in the bottom of my piece of fishing line. I'm gonna tie the first one like so, and I'm gonna give it two really tight knots, and then I'm gonna tie my second one, and that's the black one, and I'm gonna tie it really nicely so they kind of dangle together. I don't want them to be too far away from each other. So I'm just tying it and then cut the excess. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put that string towards the middle like that, and I'm gonna give it 3 knots, just like that, 3 of those. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you how beautiful they look. Now I cut the excess and start doing the same with my ornaments. I'm gonna place them in some of that fishing line, one for each fishing line. I'm gonna tie them with 2 knots after I measure all of my fishing line. Yes, I said fishing line, like fishing line, like 100 times. So I'm gonna continue tying them and making them so I can tie them to my chandelier base. Yeah, I was going to say lampshade, but this is not a lampshade anymore. It's chandelier base. So we're gonna tie them like that. And then we're gonna continue tying them all around our spiral. And I just started in the corners so you can see them. But this is not the way that I'm doing it. I'm starting from the middle to the sides. Now this is how it's looking. I'm gonna continue tying my knots on the top, and here you have a good look of how the top's looking and how the ornaments are looking on the bottom. I need to tie lots more, but I wanted to show you. And this is how the chandelier turned out. I have it propped in one of my stick thingies. It's like a tripod, you know. And here is how it's looking. Here's the top where we made the spiral. Here's the lampshade. As you can see, we can see some of the leaves coming through the paint, and I love it because it adds lots of character. Over here we have the beautiful ornaments, and I'm so in love with how they look. They look like a Christmas tree. I'm so in love with this piece. And I will use it on top of my table. Yep, my dining room table. And remember that in the description box down below, I'm going to leave you the link to the playlist and also to both of our challenge hosts. I just want to take this opportunity to thank them for bringing us this awesome challenge. I truly love how this turned out. And remember that if you like it, hit the thumbs up. If you love it, subscribe so you can keep on watching this type of videos. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.